Today, PlanetSide 2 surpasses PlanetSide 1's uptime of 4,791 days, a game with thousands of real players on one map and sometimes zero Twitch streamers. PlanetSide 1 and 2, in my opinion, for their time, are the world's best and most underrated games ever. Just watch your friends play other games for a few weeks, quit, and move on to some other copycat game. Many gamers can't even keep loyal to a game and bleed money in repeated disappointments that mostly just offer fast PvE story that doesn't continue any further. Then they have the cheek to say that PlanetSide sucks. Just go look at Steam Awards for this year, some lifeless crap there. Oh, and Amazon's New World getting shut after 4 years is pathetic. The franchise's uptime is phenomenal, so based on this, PS Forever are doing a PlanetSide 1 event today all through the weekend to celebrate when it all started. PS Forever has never really done a huge hype event in between the May birthdays, so it's a good excuse to celebrate for once. I want to say to all people who've played or never played, just get into both of the games, PlanetSide 1 or 2. However, what the hell is going on with PlanetSide 2 lately? To summarise, PlanetSide 2 is still a fantastic game, but we are at the stage of little to no development. Peak times are dropping off, and there's one dead Asian server where they're mostly playing EU boosting the fight, and one West Coast server with West Coast peak times only. Many East Coasters quit playing in April merge because the rapid change of ping and lag spikes and unplayability. I used to log in about 4 PM UK time and Emerald was buzzing. Now I can even stay up to 1 AM and it's not even alerting. Dayrate game really needs to stop saving face and get it back east. Chicago or somewhere like that, as long as it just gets a better ping for East Coast. It really does sound like the EU server is going to be the best fight you're going to get from now on. Oh, and not to mention the slower dev support for issues and lots of hotfixes, fixing hotfixes that broke a broken patch just for some sales items. And as I write this, many people's games are crashing within 1 to 2 minutes of logging in. And as I add to this before the new year, they didn't fix it. And as I add to this on New Year's Day, PlanetSide 2 servers have crashed multiple times over the last couple of days. What a way to go into 2026. Combined with losing your place on the continent and sometimes being back in the queue, which happens to be a lot less because the pop is dropping, but go figure. One knock-on effect after the other. Directives, XP, but mainly sales events have been breaking nearly every time this year, and people are going to hold back spending or logging in. Game is clearly losing potential profit to keep the servers online. Terrible mismanagement that ends up shutting our game down years early. It's infuriating. That's been a horror story for the majority of 2025. Should we also pretend that Wainwright didn't completely desync for a week in August? And continue reports of desync like people getting out of vehicles invisible or spawning at an AMS cloak for a few seconds. I am really big on intensity, and you can feel it when it drops off. Usually a month or two after the server merge or an update like Sundra's. And the next one I'm hoping for is Soltec being able to play their mains on EU or Osprey. Then if there's no big update, the next intensity moment will be Wainwright and Osprey merging. And I hope that's on something like EU or East Coast. And any content after that may allow intensity to come. You will notice on Reddit a lot of scenery photos, AI pictures of the game being posted. A lot of people bringing up the question of PlanetSide 3 as well. Usually a sign of people are running out of things to do on the game or general boredom or even getting fed up of poor updates breaking the game. We shouldn't have to live like this. Dayrate Games, Mithril posted a long-term infrastructure review that was going to consider server location. Servers are still having problems. West Coast is unplayable for even East Coast Americans. So the long term now needs to go to the short term goal. Immediately should be voted for by the community. They've been given enough time for network and routing adjustments, performance tuning. They might even have to dump Osprey into Wainwright one day because of this West Coast move. PlanetSide 1 was ahead of its time and lasted way longer than many MMOs that came out in the 2000s. PlanetSide 2 is still ahead of its time and still lasting longer than many MMOs that came out in the 2010s. PlanetSide 2 changed a lot in half a decade. I was a massive hater on PS2 in the early years based on many features that it didn't take from PlanetSide 1, and I've become addicted in the last 4 years, but now I have hit a massive wall and I barely play and I see no need to subscribe anymore. Early launch issues compelled me to make why PlanetSide 1 is better than PlanetSide 2. Videos that gained a lot of views. It ended up being a 3-part series in the end with 57,000 views across them. If you can be bothered, go and watch them, as it would take a lot of time to add to this video here. I was also told by a fanfare attendee that some of the devs back in the day looked at my videos and found them enjoyable. I think I'd be dreaming if the current devs watched this video. If you watch them back, you'll realise quite a few things ended up in PlanetSide 2 from PlanetSide 1, but there's still a fair amount to add. Especially the metagame of capturing, closing, opening and defending continents whenever you wish. Full player control. Zero alerts. To think of it, they got quite a bit of money from me for membership for NSO because I found it quite interesting personally and lock into a team you want to lock to. I love the Larian on the Chimera as well. Also, the events that happen are usually Bastion events and Colossus's kill Bastions, all content that's been added in the second half of the game's life. What I still love is the size of the population on one map. The size an outfit can get online at the same time after 13 years. The ability to assemble Chain of Galaxies or a Sunder train, or even just a random little squad and solos going down a valley and Hossen and becoming what looks like to the enemy an organised squad. Then to top it off, labelling the base with your name and logo on the map. And then sometimes the bases have your logo on the side of it. So awesome. PvP is 100% guaranteed. Ever played another game event where PvP is the majority of the game and you end up having so much downtime? Or you commit to days of building, crafting and have mediocre PvP situation and the feeling of deflation is overwhelming. Or even downloading many gigs worth of mods for a game and finding that the servers just aren't what you expected. Foxhole is a similar regular PvP, but there's always a queue for busy areas and time consuming picking your kit every single life, or being bomb strike from miles out. I literally just did a World War II online event for the first time ever this weekend gone, pulling in hundreds of people. Good fight, decent metagame like PlanetSide and almost 100% PvP, but a little bit of extra downtime compared to PlanetSide. I've joined Rust events over the weekend with huge downtime, but they only happen once a few times a year. So searching over the years for mass PvP and looking at all the MMO games, it's safe to say that PlanetSide is really the only one for immediate PvP and winning as a new character. Literally kicking ass with less gear. And searching for an MMO FPS or thousands of people on one map almost all the time drops PlanetSide quite high in the top of the list on Google. So there's no excuse for people who like big PvP not to know about this game. It's not like there's hundreds of competitors out there, is it? None. Looking at Daybreak as a game maker, they've made absolutely F all since PlanetSide 2. Fine, one game that split off into two dead games, H1Z1 basically, and two cancelled games. What a shit show. I mean, people want to talk shit on PlanetSide, but what amazes me is Daybreak Game and SOE have turned off games with proper movie names. Matrix Online, Star Wars, DC Universe is still alive, but it's literally Batman and bloody Superman, and it has less players than PlanetSide 2's. But yet, PlanetSide 2 still lives on. Unknown to literally 99.9% of the world's population. PlanetSide has no merchandise, no movies, no marketing, slow development, and is still bringing battles unheard of compared to millions of titles out there across all gaming platforms and phones. It is often empty on Twitch or with just a few streamers, but behind the scenes there is a battle of 1,000 people on a map chucking plasma bullets and bombs everywhere. A unique one for me was H1Z1 Just Survive. That's an absolute tragedy. Again, tons of players, many survival games out there, but a fantastic game just to leave on with people hosting their own servers. Never played EverQuest, but I understand how much it is loved and the emulator pressures on Daybreak. Daybreak Game even had to bring out EverQuest Classic to compete. There was even a couple of attempts to compete with PlanetSide 1 back in the day, such as Lost Colony, and Huxley comes to mind. But a Chinese ripoff called Welcome 4591 actually did come out in China and the USA called Mars War, which I played both. Anything to play a game that resembled PlanetSide 1 in its metagame. I also have the files of the game backed up if anyone is willing to have a go to get in. Just give me a shout and hopefully one day we could play it on the weekend here and there. And screw BattleBit that was pulling lots of players away from PlanetSide, but it's done. The future of PS2. It can be maintained, but I feel the management has the ability to make it decline fast. Just my opinion based on this year's updates. If barely any content is coming to the game, there should be regular events to keep things fun. The Aero Anomaly event and the Max event keeps things interesting, keeps the certs and ISO coming. I wanted a Rabbit Ball event from PlanetSide 1, where you chase it and hold it and capture the continent that way. Usually spawns if the fight has been a bit stale and the front line's not moving much. With construction, you could build a quick base around it and have the other teams try and blow the shit out of it to get the rabbit ball. But the rabbit ball does respawn, so it'd have to be quick decision there and then with an ant. Then a tech loss event, where you fight in the caves to win your tech back. Oh, okay, no caves in PS2, why? Anyway, it would have to be decided by alert wins. And once one team gets all their tech back, the second team in the alert will get their next tech back. Eventually, the loser catches up as people jump inside to help them out, like NSO, for example, or outfits looking for a challenge. Soltech needed to offer transfers into EU, USA last year. Osprey needs to go back east. It's already 2/3 of EU, which merged way before, and it has low peak times. EU is the strongest server and will continue to dominate Osprey's experience until the end, I'm sure of it. Console players really need to go to PC and get the full PlanetSide experience now. Fix current issues. Add small quality of life wins before proceeding with random updates. Thinking ahead for years after the Infiltrate update we just had. The sniper needs to be handed over to engineer. I know I've been getting downvoted massively for it. We can't put the game in a position in a year or two with no devs, not much ticket support and server lag issues. Anyone that wants to mess around will just pull a sniper, cloak uncloak fire, recloak, and the server and your client won't even register it by the time you're dead. It's been great to play the game without getting shanked by a cloaker, I'm going to admit it. People returned to the game and some people left. It's just the way it is. All continents, as soon as they open, would need to alert straight away. So we don't have ones that get stuck for days with limited daybreak ticket support. Literally 1 month ago on Osprey, it was stuck on Hossen for 4 days, with no alert, and it happened 2 weekends right after too. It's a very sure way to decline a game. Of course, us PlanetSide 1 guys know if the meta game for PlanetSide 1 was in there would be no messing about with continents open and closing when they want or getting stuck. What if they did what PlanetSide 1 did, announce no support or further development but leave the server on for a couple more years? You won't be able to get the game off Hossen. What if the game is one final server stuck on Hossen? It takes a lot of begging GMs like we did on PlanetSide 1 to put a special word in or come for the weekend like off the books in their own time. There's one guy, Dev Benes, legend, if he's still around, we haven't forgotten you logging in to help us with PlanetSide 1 on weekends sometimes and kicking the hackers. We'd also have to keep pinning workarounds on Reddit and Steam towards the end for people to see when Daybreak gave up communicating about issues. It's going to have to become a very player helpful orientated system. And the blatant under the map hacking and flying Sundra has been getting out of control in periods of the year. Sometimes I have played quite a bit and not noticed anything, but you've all seen evidence of anti-cheat being disabled by Daybreak, so can anyone explain this? And finally, blatant under the map or speed hacking in the sky will have to be combated by the good guys in the community. It's just the way it was done in PlanetSide 1 towards the end, and it's already happening on PlanetSide 2. Time for some random thoughts. The creator clash in 2025 was a very obvious sign of decline. The 3 streamers barely pulled in viewers compared to only just last year. Osprey crashed halfway through the event in alert with 10 minutes to go. The map reset and some other team could have won, and everyone that had a Bastion at the time lost it. As well as Cobalt being down for an entire week in 2023 birthday, it's feeling miserable in special events. A PS1 guy was casually streaming PlanetSide 1 on the Creator Clash 22nd of November for 10 hours straight, and the other main PS2 guys committed to 2 to 3 hours. I had fun interaction with one streamer as the only one killed in his orb strike. Still a good bit of fun to be had, right? PS1 stayed in the top for hours, knocked off by PS2 to begin with, and then up and down, but close behind the main guys with all the promo. That is a sure sign that people are becoming interested in the first classic game again. I repeat, people are interested in the first game. So this is another request of Daybreak Games, as PS2 is getting old. Just re-release the PlanetSide 1 under the All Access program. 1 server should be enough, either in Europe or East Coast. Make it happen. Low cost, makes money, keeps PlanetSide 1 franchise going, and gives PlanetSide 1 players what they need instead of resisting playing a Daybreak game ever again. Daybreak Games even promoted the PlanetSide 1 emulator in 2020 on Twitter, which has overwhelming respect from the PlanetSide 1 guys. In the first game, I feel it was easier to AFK and be useful at certain periods like the control console or generator. It allowed you to be an initial target for when people enter the control console. It allowed people to do things like work, clean house, and listen out for attack. The way the base and gens were built, you had some warning, usually all quiet in the basement with doors that make noise when they open. And even before that, someone dropping and EMP in from a CUD as they hot drop the base or a galaxy coming in was always enough warning. In PS2, you sort of useless AFK. You get kicked after 10 minutes as well. I hate that. I've been complaining about that forever. You barely have time to react the way the capture points are placed or noises from guns are reasonably similar, and the route of being placed with a huge outfit mass spawning makes AFKs useless. I am even at the point of not playing until a map comes up that I fancy playing. I'm sort of tactically holding off as not to open the second continent. EU will always skip Hossen and Osho if given a choice. Osprey will usually play through Hossen, but not Osho if given another choice. I'm even logging onto Osprey just to add an extra amp to help it alert, so I can at least see what the next map is and then sleep after. It's quite late, awful situation. Quite a lot of time you can log in the morning, both servers stuck on the same continent. That's losing player retention, I think. I made a post about it on the official forums, but it was completely ignored. Peak times reducing, maps you don't want to play. For many people with a set limit amount of time, they just won't bother logging in that day. There was a horrendous Christmas downtime, 11 hours. At the end of the day, I can't tell if people quit because of the whole evening downtime, but maybe people just unsub. But it's never a positive thing in a game with 13 years timeline that we're in. The hotfix broke the game even more, which resulted in more crashes. Attempted server tweaks late Friday before Christmas, which failed for many people. On the week of Christmas, they didn't even manage to find a fix, not even roll it back. So we go into the holidays with a detrimental crash for about all players, having to do a workaround. Fix the game, roll it to the test server 24 to 48 hours before, be happy, and then sign it off for live. And give something to everyone on all accounts like Daybreak Cash or reason to jump back in nearly a whole year of disappointed broken updates and hotfixes. I don't think anyone has a clue what a Strapto Capital are holding PlanetSide 1 IP for, really. It could be anyone's guess. They talk about people approaching them for IP deals but never reply to anyone, not even out of common courtesy. Apparently an ex-Toadman dev set up in France. I would love to know more. I've seen a post on Reddit but nothing official. It's kind of cool. It means devs actually care about trying to do something to the game to a certain degree. Fishing, absolutely pointless in an MMO FPS with no end goal as far as I can see. The update broke stuff and led to more exploits. One of my theories is that it's linked to the Archaeotech items showcased and the untapped reservoir unit, the Strider. Could it be energy, ammo, or some fuel for the weapons, or even physical flesh from the fish on those guns? The better the fish you collect, the more well-performing the weapons are, for example. It sounds far-fetched, but you can't rule out anything with Daybreak games. Underwater fighting is my favourite. As you've seen, I've been clipping lots of underwater action. Going under with a harasser with GSD is absolutely unbelievable. Osha is great, but it just needs 1,000 people and every trident full, and it's epic. The first weekend was so good being able to fire passenger guns under the water, and then it got nerfed and I was close to buying a PlayStation cheap to do it all again for when they had their release the next weekend. A defining moment that was nerfed, and nerfed a couple more times too. I made a post when the peak players on Steam charts dropped below 1k for the first time in the game's history. I received large downvotes on my replies, but some useful comments. We as PlanetSide 2 players know about Fisu and Honu, but a new player looking in probably won't be finding these. They'll be looking at the Steam charts or the current players on Steam to decide whether it's worth playing. However you want to spin it, that will be lowering the entry for new players to bother. I guarantee it. It's nothing we can control, it's really up to how Daybreak manages the game. And with the crashes not being fixed for holidays, it's pushed it below 1k. Daybreak games have sometimes spent a huge amount of time creating something, multiple months, if not 1 year, and then they've nerfed it back to halfway where it came from. And something like Untapped Reservoir, which is one of my favourite bases, is barely being played, and people can barely play it with common sense. This base could have been more central and have 3 links instead of 2. Then you'd nearly always end up with a great 3-way fight over it. Not always popular opinion, but PlanetSide is about world domination, yet people moan about overpop. 40%, 30%, 30%. You simply just have to get on with it right now. Get on with double teaming the 40% team. What about being 40% and winning against 2 30% double teams? It's epic plays and tactics which give you the buzz which you should be looking for in the game, not team numbers. I always give this example based on PlanetSide 1. Because every player had the autonomy to go to a continent and attack without warning to capture the first base link with the warp gate, VS were 30% and us on TR was 70%, and the 30% of VS kept us off the continent. How? They were all working together in Aurora teams, plasming us back to warp gate as we made a push every time to the base. We were impellers and had huge power, but they were obviously organised on TeamSpeak and hitting one target at a time. It's an insane memory. Some of the bugs that have come with PlanetSide 1 and 2 over the years have actually led to temporary rush of fun. The first few hours of the Sundara update was so fun, but they left it over the weekend, which was extremely depressing, and the servers cleared out by Sunday. For me, I think the bundle items are too expensive for the population in-game. A 40% sale right now, still 5,000 Daybreak cash for a bundle when I only want one item, like the anti-vehicle knife. Courtian bombs, another heart-stopping moment taken out of the game. I don't understand the dumbing down of games, especially PlanetSide 2. Time for some memories before finalising the video. I've got nostalgic memories of my brother persuading my dad to buy us all Alienware PCs. And by the looks of it, he got it from PlanetSide. Meeting people at UK LAN sat in the PlanetSide 1 section. Yes, there was a PlanetSide 1 section at the early multiplayer I-Series in Newbury Racecourse in England. Having people walk past and go, oh my god, you're playing PlanetSide. Having a chat with them and finding they logged back in to play again in the early mid-2010s. Actually getting my CR5 at LAN and having Total Oblivion guys and Mertz come over and pat me on the back, shake my hand and see me do my first orb strike. And also got bought a beer to sink as well. Do you remember where you were when you got your Battle Rank 100 on PS2? Nah. Many people remember where they got their CR4 and CR5 because they did a victory orb at the time. Memories like that are priceless. One of those lands I was bang on Jolt Colas, the ones that pop the lid at pressure when you open them. I basically did the first 2 nights without sleep. I was on TR all day with my mate, and when he went to sleep, I switched over to VS to land to positions from a hill all night and back to TR to play with him again the next day. I ended up listening to 3 songs on repeat the entire time, and that sort of shit is embedded in your soul. Never again, it was a weird time. Meeting up with people from the game to have a few beers here and there, doing a video of how to kill time during a 15-minute PlanetSide hack to keep the hype and fun towards the final years of PS1. Sitting with an anti-air max at 3 AM in the volcano, having deep conversations with my real life mates and finding it easier to stay up late and not fall asleep early.
Get some maniacs on PlanetSide. Much love, mate. What's PlanetSide?
You didn't die yet. Go.
Yeah! Ah! Yeah! Oh my god! That was huge! That was huge! Let's go! Dude!
Light assault trooper helmet from PlanetSide 2.
Final charge. It's
Because the jackhammer is nerfed, the jackhammer is really nerfed. In PlanetSide is forever. It's really nerfed, like no.
Have you heard of PlanetSide 1, by the way? I have not.
I heard of PlanetSide 1. No, what is that?
Have I heard of PlanetSide 1? No, I have not.
PlanetSide 1, what does that mean? If you explain to me, it will be perfect.
Have you heard of PlanetSide 1, by the way? No. I have not.
Have you heard of PlanetSide 1, by the way? No, I haven't. But if you pop the link in.
Bitch, fix the server right now, man. I need to play PlanetSide.
Laser, turn your fucking mic up.
I just did. You. He doesn't know I'm reviving you.
Shit!
Just try to move and the game won't do it for you.
My little toddler legs ain't doing it for me, huh?
I got a notepad open with a fucking as much of an in-depth analysis of what the fuck has gone on. Because Death killed Bluey on this setting up fight, for fuck's sake.
Some dickhead is using my original as the same nickname, which I call Imposter, and the Imposter is actually wants me to get banned permanently from this emulator for no reason.
I crashed, didn't I? Fuck!
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Are we up or down?
Up. By 1.
We what?
What is with
Oi,
the
oi!
Look at that,
son. Over and over. Yes! You guys have my team down here and wearing fucking pajamas.
It's because they fucking want me to. I don't have any. They hate me or something.
No, that's me, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna kill you if the last thing I do.
Oh no. And then now Orbeez gonna just wipe them clean. Unbelievable amount of players just died. That kill feed.
Final timeline of thoughts before concluding. PlanetSide 1 development stopped in December 2009, which is basically 6.5 years into the game, and it lasted for nearly 7 years after, with 4 years running alongside PS2. I really want to make a big deal that PlanetSide 2 development has lasted double PS1's time, and that's a thing we should really commend. Let's just say it continues for longer, and when it stops, at about 7 years onto that figure, maybe dreaming. On PS1, EU got put into the East Coast server on the 25th of August 2009. So one last server 6 years into the game. Again, let's make a big deal that PlanetSide 2 still has 2 servers that have the ability to be fully pulling in 1,000 players on a weekend prime time. Sorry Soltec, I don't know why you're not fully with us yet. You have massive outfits doing some big plays on EU, keep it up. Even though some people want you region, I don't think it's fair for that to happen. PlanetSide Araxis is literally a globe, continents that span the entire surface around. People don't realise how much you prop up the servers. It will be interesting to see when you merge, transfer over, and some plays and intensity hits again for a period of time. That's going to be something to behold. One simple conclusion. PlanetSide 1 and 2, the world's greatest games. They will always live on, whether under a gaming company or a community emulator. And that's a fact. See you on Araxis.